So we welcome everyone here to the Global Center for Christ Consciousness and the folks online as well. Bless you and thank you. In this moment, we choose to allow all extraneous thoughts to part like the seas before Moses and the Israelites, letting all nonsense chatter, the monkey mind, things to do, things to worry about, concerns, all we command, be still, so that we may know the I am presence of God. In this holy moment, because of our healthy choice, the way is made clear for you, our Divine Mother, the Holy Spirit of God, to descend upon us and shine your light in and through us as us. Let your light be so clear, so present, that when people encounter us in our day-to-day lives, not because of anything grandiose that we do or say, your presence in us inspires them. Somehow they feel a bit more hope, aliveness, guidance, clarity, as should have always been the case. Help us to forgive ourselves for the time that we forget to be that presence, and help us to forgive ourselves for the times we were not presence for others, not only in ourselves, but for others. All forgetfulness is now forgiveness. And so it is.
Please take a moment to breathe and integrate this quote by Paramahansa Yogananda. When you worry, there is static coming through your mind radio. God's song is the song of calmness. Nervousness is the static. Calmness is the voice of God speaking to you through the radio of your soul. Calmness is the living breath of God's immortality in you. Everything you do should be done in peace. That is the best medicine for your body, mind, and soul. It is the most wonderful way to live. Peace is the altar of God, the condition in which happiness exists. And so it is. Please join us in reading our mission statement, which you can find on the pieces of white paper in the front seatbacks in front of you. And together we say, the Global Center for Christ Consciousness is a spiritual center for students and masters on the spiritual path. We are dedicated to awakening the inner Christ and creating a world of love, peace, joy, and abundance. And so it is.
Beautiful. Can anyone share what you'd like me to talk about today?
The need for meaning. Allowance and surrender. Rage. Diplomacy.
Hold on. Okay. Yes?
How to truly feel worthy.
Okay. Thank you.
Reality.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. If something's really, really important, you're still welcome to share others. I don't want you to kind of like, oh my God, I missed my chance. If something's important, you know, we or I and we always do our best to make sure we get to that topic or whatever it might be, that question. So a good variety as usual, everything from depression, reality, rage, diplomacy, feeling worthy, allowance, surrender. Yeah, it's beautiful. And in case it's not obvious, this is not our home. Let's just make that clear. we keep trying to impose perfection on an imperfect world that has no intention of becoming perfected, which sounds a little disheartening, I'm sure. But this is the truth. Some of us even have issues like crashing or depression, and we think it's just chemistry, and it can be, and we think it's neurology, it can be, this, that, and the other, unhealed traumas and wounds, of course. But also, you can feel depressed, for example, by carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. It's heavy. And I don't just mean the proverbial weight of the world like you're constantly of service to people or whatever. That could be the case. I'm saying that all of us are subconsciously aware that this place is heavy. It's heavy. A lot of heavy stuff goes on here. Abuses, wars, betrayals, racism, sexism. It's all nonsense, but it feels heavy while you're in this world. It is not God's will. Harmfulness was never God's intention. It was never God's intention. Nothing to do with God at all. And in fact, my definition of trauma is any experience we have that lacks God's presence. Trauma isn't just when somebody overtly harms you. Lacking God's presence is traumatic. Well, how often is that? Every day. All the time. How many times a day? Every second of every day. We are subconsciously aware, this is not my home, and that feels heavy on us. We're lucky we can even live for 80, 90, or whatever years with this kind of burden. This is heavy. That's why people would rather not notice it. And we don't. As long as we eat, have sex, drink, do drugs, we do all kinds of things to make sure we're medicated so that we don't sit and go, hey, listen, has everybody else noticed that this world is not our home? Is anybody else able to sit still and feel how depressing this is? It's heavy. Now, Yogananda made that point. This is not our home. And you can work hard at trying to make this a better place. It's exhausting. Why? Because there's just so much to do, Christian soldiers. No, that's not the problem. The problem is people don't even acknowledge that this isn't our home. And then there's a second part to that, and heaven is. That doesn't mean we're passing out Kool-Aid for everybody to go to heaven today. Because you won't go to heaven, you have to grow to heaven. Well, how are we going to get people to grow to heaven when they won't even acknowledge that this is hell? They keep trying to fix this place politically. And if you think I'm wrong, just turn on the news and watch how everybody argues, because they think if we just do their thing politically or medically or whatever else, the world's a better place. It will not. It's exhausting. And the more, wow, I'm getting excited. Well, the more we invest in this world being our place, the more falsely excited and the more sadly crash. Because after every false rise comes a crash. So it's an interesting thing to me that it's sad, but everybody's working so hard. So what are we going to do, guys? If we're all light workers, which we are, what are we going to do? You start to realize, well, politics doesn't do it. You know, prices at the gas pump won't fix nor decline. You don't decline or rise in either of these. This is coming from our decisions. This is going to get really heavy for just a sec. But Jesus, through the teachings of A Course in Miracles, the teachings of Christ consciousness, they don't talk about how you fix the world with things outside. Christ consciousness does, even religions do that. Science does that, but none of it's true. The unholy trinity of religion, politics, or government, and science, they keep teaching things that don't work. But they can't say, ladies and gentlemen, we have an announcement to make on all broadcasts. We, science or government or religion, we were totally mistaken. Nothing we said has much of any value at all. They're not going to do that. Too much power and money in doing what they do. So they're not going to do that. So what happens is I'm conflicted. I'm told that I'm safe as long as the government's out for me. I'm going to be going to heaven as long as my religion's okay. I'm going to know what's true and not by science. And it doesn't work. So inside, man, there's a pressure building. And I'm going to blow. And people do. And they go and kill each other because of it. They don't know what else to do with that anxiety inside. What's the anxiety? We're being lied to. I'm not giving you a conspiracy conversation. I'm saying we're being lied to. The world cannot fix itself with the same consciousness that created it, what it is. So what are we going to do as light workers? You're going to be tempted to want to step up and do something and stop. Or you're going to crash and say, I realize there's nothing I can do. And you know what? That's depressing. When you realize there's nothing you can do, you'll go from manic moments to crashing. There's nothing I can do. I tried to fix my family. There's nothing I can do. I tried to help so-and-so not die because they were ill, and I did everything, and there's nothing I can do. This world constantly is going to tell you that. Even when you think, no, you're wrong. There is nothing you can do. Go ahead, try to fight death. You're going to get exhausted. And it's set up that way. The world is set up that way to make sure you never find joy. It's here. You're going to work hard or you're going to crash. Those extremes, the pendulum, but never find peace. And the peace is hard to find because it looks so heartless to say, people are dying. Governments are needing change. I should speak up. I need to picket. Why am I doing that? The only reason we act like we need to do anything is because we don't know how to need nothing, which centers in God. I'm not telling you what name of God. I didn't say you have to call it this or that. I don't even care anymore. People just have to understand whatever is their concept of God has to be honored. I'm not here. I just don't have it in me to argue what to call God. If you mean your loving creator, you're doing pretty good. If you start to steer into names, oh God, there's people out there that just, Jesus can't hear your prayers unless you call him Yeshua. Like he's going, I don't get what you're saying. Dear Jesus, I don't get it. The all-knowing Christ doesn't get it. You have to say Yeshua, and you have to have an accent on it and just stop. That's like saying somebody cannot do a Buddhist mantra because they didn't get quite the syllables all in the right place. Just forget it. Just hear, man. Jesus tried to make it clear, be as children, or you will not reach the kingdom. He didn't say, be as intellectuals. Have your encyclopedias memorized, or you will not reach the kingdom. Look at what he's saying, man. You must be as children. What does that mean? Various levels of interpretation, but simple, honest, vulnerable, clear. That's the beauty of it. The attitude of, I don't know anything, but in God, I know everything. Let that be your teacher and your guide. God, getting back to God. So Yogananda's trying to say, if you're upset about this world, try this affirmation. Instead of vote for whomever, no, try this one. This is not my home. Oh, I don't like that. That sounds depressing. That's only the first half. I know nothing. This is not my home is only the first half. The second half is, but God does know. This is not my home, but heaven is. Now I just need to figure out how to get from what isn't to what is. How do we do that? All kinds of books, all kinds of workshops, and they all help. But ultimately, this is an inside job. You have to call on God. Because the Holy Spirit, your divine mother who birthed you, I don't mean the woman who birthed you, your divine mother gave you birth spiritually. And we fell into matter. And we're all screwed up now. But she's waiting to birth us back spiritually. She birthed you through a canal that's called the vesica Piscis, the shape, the symbol of the Christ, the one that Jesus drew in the sand, the symbol of Pisces. So the vesica Piscis is the womb you come through when you're born physically, but it's also the same portal, the same doorway you have to go through when you pass into spiritual birth, dying of the physical. Nicodemus then says, Jesus, what do you mean? You can't re-enter the womb twice. No, you birth from spirit through the womb into matter. Now you have to birth from matter into spirit through your third eye. Let thine eye be single, Jesus said, and you will be filled with light, which is the same as saying, hey guys, listen. I'm paraphrasing with the hey guys, but hey guys, listen, I'm going to let you in on something. When you keep evaluating your life by your five senses, the way a yogi would say it, or through your eyes that have two. You know why you have two eyes? Because you can't make up your mind. You have to have two eyes, two opinions constantly. Well, there's two sides to all arguments. No, there isn't. There can be just one. There's more than one decision to make. I don't know who to marry, which one. I don't know which job to take, which one, which town to move to. This is typical and it's exhausting. And some of us, it goes too far and it breaks us. And we don't know how to come back. If that's you, if it's somebody you know and love, in your heart, just say these words, I'm sorry. Meaning, I'm sorry that somewhere it had to have happened. You were not created this way by spirit. You broke. And I'm very sorry that it went that far. I can only help in this way, holding space and holding an immaculate concept of you that this is not who you really are. You could jump out of this any second, or it could take you 3 more lifetimes. I don't care how long you decide to take. That's yours. I love you either way. I'm just going to do my best to hold space. And that's not easy to do. It's not easy to visit the hospital every day with someone who's in a coma and just wait for them to come back. It's hard on you. And if that person is quadriplegic and they send them home, you can only pick them up so many times with your own strength, right? You can get exhausted trying to carry even someone you love. What do? I don't know. Meaning, none of us know. Meaning, you better call on God who does. I can't, even someone I love, I can't carry them. Even a child's going to get big enough to where I can't carry them all the time if this is something they were to need physically. Support. I don't know what to do. God, start with spirit. Help me to see them differently. Help me to see them away from their material self, away from their broken self, their depressed self. And it isn't just depression. Guys, alcoholism, drug addiction, sex addiction, food addiction, they're all the same. This is like, let's look at each other and say, I'm so sorry that you went to this point where to hide from shames of things that were done to you when you were a child, you ate too much, drug too much, drank too much, smoked too much. I understand though. See, don't judge and label them and tell them they have to fix themselves. Start with, I'm sorry. And there's teachers out there that say, don't ever say the words, I'm sorry. That puts you in a negative frequency of the word sorry. Shut up. It doesn't do anything. Only God has power over you. And when you say to a person, I'm very sorry for your hurts, that's not a negative frequency. Bloody hell, what's wrong with these people, these teachers, pseudo teachers? Telling you that love and compassion is a negative frequency. You know why they have to say that? Because they're such at the bottom. They can't afford to say words like, I'm very sorry for my brothers and sisters. No, it's got to be all affirmations of betterment. Well, you can't build on quicksand like that. I'm just going to use positive frequency. I'm standing in quicksand, but it's okay. I believe that everything's fine in the world, and when you hang in there long enough, God is, and only God is, and what am I going to do? The words allowance and surrender. Stop trying to fix everything. Start with allow. Start acceptance. Don't fight it. You can be sad for people. And I don't mean sympathetic where you drop in the quicksand with them. What I'm saying is you can feel for them, and you should be feeling for others. One of you asked about reality, and when I'm talking about these things, remember, this is a painful place, but it was corrupted by us. We took what God created and decided we could improve upon it. We created an ego and said, we know God created bliss. We got to try something on our own. Let's try outside of love to create a new world, which to me is like trying to improve on Velveeta. You can't. Just leave it alone. But anyway, God. So leave it alone. Sometimes things are just fine. So God created and you can't even call it a dimension, but we have to use it so that we understand some things. Imagine God created a perfect holy dimension, not 2 of them, 8 of them, just a frequency of perfect love, bliss, joy, oneness. Beautiful. We were part of that and then said, but let's try out our skills of creation, since we're creators. Let's try out our gifts of creative power and let's see what else we can create. And we started experimenting with creating. And when we did, we steered away from, remember this, from love. We started getting into our head, which is when you eat from the tree of knowledge in the Garden of Eden. We started creating from our thinking rather than being. And once you did it once, you had to try to compensate or fix it. And now you're backpedaling, trying to, oh my God, what have we done? And we got more desperate. And the further desperate we got, like any of us, you could be a boxer, one blow, and you could be winning the fight, one blow, and you're off, and you're backpedaling, and it's over. One strike from this world can take a person in the universe who's universal creators like we were, and all we had to do was for one moment bite the apple from the tree of knowledge. All we had to do was bite guilt, shame, regret, any of those such feelings as that, and it's all over. Now you're trying to, either deny you did it. She made me. Adam, I notice you're different. What's going on? She made me do it. Eve, devil made me do it. And that's the beginning of blame. Blame somebody else. I've said it many times. The cure is not going to be denying that we've done this, that we miscreated a world. Who did it? Well, it wasn't me. That doesn't help. Just say the word we. We miscreated. But I don't remember doing such a thing. Your amnesia is something you've set yourself up with so you wouldn't remember. Just use common sense. God, that's perfect love, could not have created a screwed up world. Someone did it, the devil. Find him. Make him accountable. Good luck. Or it's an easier path to say, why don't we just start here? Let me look at my part. Well, but how do I know if 18 trillion years ago I did this in heaven and I created a... You don't have to. It's made so much easier. Start with your ridiculous thoughts of today. Start with judging anybody for anything, and you're back to the original judgment. All of these things we do today are microcosms of the big blast, the big original judgment. And we try all kinds of things to excuse it and negotiate out of it. And at the end of the day, now we're all in compensatory kind of energy and reaction, denial, minimize, fight, flight, and none of that is peace. So how do we find peace? It's the strangest thing. Calm down for a minute, and anything that's happening in your life, practice recognizing something that doesn't look like God's presence. If I'm doing something to you that's not God's presence, what did I say the definition of? Lack of God's presence means trauma. So even if I just subconsciously or barely thinking about the way you look, what I'm doing is a judgment. And if I'm judging a person, it's not God's presence, which means even when I look at you and think, that outfit looks terrible, I'm traumatizing you. And you're going to energetically, you don't even hear me do it, but you're going to feel that there's a heaviness coming to me. What is that? Thought forms of other people. And we walk around doing this to each other. Constant thought forms, and they wear us down. You won't be good enough for your dad who's a perfectionist or your mom who's a whatever she is. You can't reach a state of perfection in an imperfect world. But trying to do so, trying to impress dad, trying to impress mom or grandfather or your race, your culture, trying to make a stand and make a difference in the world, all of that, if it's coming from you, it's exhausting. But when we say, God, I don't know, what would you have me do? There's this moment of silence. You know why? Because God's shocked for a second. But besides that, there's this moment of silence. And it's because God's like, and then Jesus nudges him. Oh, I got it. Okay. Whoa. Somebody said, what would you have me do? That's what it takes, humility. People keep coming up with these grandiose ideas about changing the world. And I'm talking about even you fixing your life. I heard this talk and it's very cool and it's very inspiring. So I think now I'm no longer a diabetic. That's not how you start. You start going, well, I heard this talk about how there's the perfection of God and then there's me, the diabetic. I feel weird about that. I feel conflicted. Because on one hand, God created me in God's image. And on another hand, somewhere along the line, I picked up diabetes or whatever the topic is. You're going to be tempted to label it, stamp it. Now you can never heal that, by the way. And you need medication, by the way, which will give you side effects, by the way. And you need to. Or just start with, this is hilarious. A perfectly whole co-creator with God. And, I have a cold. Laugh at it a little, but own it. Maybe you need rest. See, do things gently instead of these intense adjustments to the world. There's nothing I can do out here to fix the world. That's what it comes down to. And trying so causes me to go to one of an extreme emotion, rage, which one of you asked about, and depression. You're going to crash or you're going to become anxious and manic. I got to fix everything. Why? Because it's not good enough and it'll make me feel better if I can make everything better. Wow, that's the rescuer, and that's just chill. Well, I don't want to be like them. You see, it's one judging the other, so they end up over here. I don't like being that, so I've crashed and became depressed. I don't like being depressed, so I'm manic. Where's the peace of God? You can't get it unless you say, I don't know about this. I thought this would make a better world. I thought that, you know what? No, I'm going to go here. And if I am still to eat foods, vote for a person, I want to eat foods, vote for people, read books that feel like this, not this, or this. When this person starts telling me I should be more like them, or even if they just say, don't be like them, that's not the one I'm going to listen to, and vice versa. You see what I'm saying there? You don't have to avoid alcohol because it's evil. It should be because you love yourself, and that doesn't feel like a loving act. Waking up with your head in a toilet doesn't look that good. Right? I mean, what are you going to do? Take a photo and put it on Facebook. Anybody that would want to date that person is probably pretty disturbed. So just realize these things are not bringing me a feeling of self-love. And don't ever underestimate the power and the value of love, but in the particular form of service. Now, service isn't the same as trying to fix everybody. There's a story you may be familiar with, but somewhere along the line, some individual gets a vision of heaven and hell. And they're shown this vision. It's interesting. There's a table with a feast going on. Exactly the same scenario. Oh, the table, the foods, the feast, and people sitting at the tables. The only difference between heaven and hell, and they all had long spoons and forks that were too long to actually feed themselves. So the only difference between heaven and hell, as God is telling this person who is having this vision, look at them, it's all the same. Yeah, but why in heaven do they look happy and full and nourished? In hell, the only thing that's different, I'll tell you in a sec, but they're all emaciated and starving. So what's the difference if everything's the same? Because the people in hell keep trying to feed themselves, and the spoons and forks are too long, so they starve. The people in heaven realize, I can scoop up food and feed others, and that's how I'm fed. Just one little adjustment, helping others. I don't mean enabling. It's love and care. The realization that we're in this together. If I start a religion and tell the other people that aren't in my religion that they're going to hell, I'm already in hell. When I die, that's a place I'm going to notice when I get to the other side, because that's all I spoke about. And I've condemned so many people to it, and they're me, so I have to go where I said they're going. Feed others. Use that spoon and fork. Well, what if what? Kindness. People talk so much about their so-called love for God, man, and it's hypocrisy. I don't want to go too far into that concept right now, but it's hypocrisy. To say, Jesus says, to say you love God and not love your neighbor is hypocrisy. But don't just say, oh, well, then I'm going to change it. I love God and my neighbor. Jerk. That doesn't work. How do you demonstrate love? Service is in the top 3 things to do. Forgiveness is one, but service is in the top 3. Be kind. Service doesn't just mean working at the food shelter, or whatever food giveaway or whatever. That's one little form of service. Maybe you're working at an animal shelter as well. Great. Those are acts of service. Those are like almost like occupations of service. Just be nice. Not just at the shelter. Be a nicer person. Care about people. If you get $1 million, donate a bunch of it. But don't just donate it to another one of those places that get trillions from others and everybody's just making money. You can take some and hand it to people in person. Like bring it to the world. Kindness. Don't just say, God, I want world peace. God's going to go, open your eyes and look around. Do you see anybody not feeling peace? Yeah. Well, then bless them. I thought you were going to do it. I'm through you. If you shut off doing it, you've shut me off. So there you go. Use those spoons and forks, man. Feed other people. Again, we're not talking about being rescuers, enablers. I'm fed by doing that. It's a reciprocal process. As I give, I receive. So that's not rescuing, which is at the risk of myself, at the detriment of my own wholeness, healthiness, and so on. I'm going to rescue others, and then you're just decaying away. There's a lot of things in this world, man, that take a toll. You can parent, and your kids might still get F's on their report card. They might still go into addiction, and you go into, after all I've done. And this is little checklist. Once you've reached enough things you've done in this world, including past lives, that didn't work out, you're going to break. You can keep trying to medicate it and become more manic about it, but this world is trying to break everybody. The world wants you to not feel alive. And when I say the world, the one created by the ego. That's, again, the powerful demonstrations of Jesus. Why did Jesus demonstrated healing? But that's not his greatest thing. He demonstrated walking on water, not his greatest thing. If you asked him, Jesus, what are your greatest hits? Walking on water? No. What's your number one hit? What song did you love, miracle did you love performing most in your life? He would say to you, none of those things matter. Walking on water? Some people got it, some didn't. I even, healed people of things that are unhealable, and some people got it and some didn't like me doing that. You shouldn't be healing that person. This is the intellect. This is human consciousness. You go and do something kind. Jesus heals a guy who's blind. And what did they say? Instead of, oh my God, this person can now see. Some of them got it, but a lot of them went, Jesus, he was making a living as a blind man with a cup. This is what they said to Jesus. Do you realize now he has to get a job? Now, this is why they call him Jesus. No. It's because of the ridiculous things they said. He was always going, Jesus. But seriously, you're going to shame healing? Really? You're going to shame, how can you shame love? But they do. And when you and I change our lives, some people will actually ridicule it. You used to be fun when you got stoned with me all the time. That kind of talk. Couples, that say to me, we used to be such a great, happy couple, for weeks or months, a year or two, but we were always stoned and having sex. Well, of course, you're getting your way, so you think you're happy, but that's not actual happiness. When does the happiness come? Oh, it's not the next thing that comes, because after the honeymoon stage comes the honeymoon's over. That's when you go, I love always getting stoned and having sex. Next thing you know, they're getting stoned with somebody else, having sex with somebody else, and you don't like it. Crash. The first stage of relationship goes to the second stage and crashes. That's still not the best part, but most people never make it past the high and the crash because they love to live shallow. Who has the guts to go to the third level of relationship, which is, I don't want to be stoned to hang with you. I want to be with you. And I don't even have to have sex to be with you. I want to be with you, whatever we're doing. It's all intercourse. It's all interconnecting. I love our conversations. When you can close your eyes and think of your partner and really some cool things and cute things, that's beautiful, but we're supposed to also be able to do that with everybody. I can be, sitting on the side of the road dying, and still be able to close my eyes and remember this day. These folks sitting going, help us, like let's share and let's learn together. See, remember the good, memorize them, and they'll feed you. The energy in things, not the codependencies, but the energy in things. Things you loved, never forget them. The person with the long spoon and fork that fed you when you were hungry, as Jesus is saying, clothed me, visited me when I was imprisoned, and so on. You helped me. All of those things are time-released capsules of love. Think back to times when people were kind, or you just enjoyed the kind energy. And it could be when you're laughing, when you're making love, or whatever it is. Remember that, and it'll feed your soul in that moment. It'll lift you up in that moment. Is it going to cure you forever and do things forever? No. If I were you, I would ingest these kinds of soul foods all the time. They lift you up. They're not the ultimate cure. The ultimate cure is when you don't need any of that. Not even having to remember fond moments, because you are the fond moments. You are the love behind them. That's where we ultimately have to go. But it involves some work. Some of it involves the annoyance and inconvenience of saying no to some of those addictions. And you feel the effects physiologically and so on, chemically, whatever the case may be. There's collateral damage that some people will walk away from you because you're deciding to walk your center. And I'm going to bring this to a close on that topic right there. Please remember how important it is to stay aligned with the truth of God, the truth of love. Even when I say the truth of God, it can make us go into religion. No, I don't mean the God of religions or religious gods. I'm talking about love, divine love, God's presence in your heart and soul. Stay true to that. We have consistently, maybe 2 or 3 times a year, a company that'll come in, an individual that'll come in. I want to rent your space here. And common sense tells you, man, rent it. You make money. The center would make more money. Rent more and more and more. I remember when I came on tour here 25 and 20 years ago, coming through Sedona, like all the places I toured. And there was a place that invited me to speak at their place. I won't name it. And I remember going there, and I'm a sort of a sensitive soul, so I can feel things. And I'm like, this is interesting. I'm speaking at a center, and there's nobody from the center there. They're just renting room. They don't care what I'm teaching. And I remember thinking, I could be doing human sacrifices, and they don't care as long as they make money. That's what I concluded. And I said, I'm not coming back to this center in Sedona again. So we create this, and we say instead, there's got to be a frequency of love, integrity as well. Love, God, there has to be a God focus. They can be into UFOs, and that's okay. Start teaching fear and conspiracies of UFOs, we don't want it. We're not interested. We're not judging you or hating you. It's that we have to stay here and keep feeding a certain thing. It's an interesting thing. Stay aligned. And I got to say, the downside, when you say no, you're kind of lonely lately, but you say yes because you're lonely to a date. You bargained. You let loneliness decide that you need to date. You see what I mean by that? It's really sad. It's easy to bargain and say, well, you're sort of prostituting yourself by saying, I'm going to marry somebody so I don't die alone. That's not the reason to marry them. But I understand your poor heart, but I don't want to be alone, and can't you understand how I feel? I get it. And people saying, I have a job I don't like, but the money's good. I'm telling you, you're dying every day at that job, and you're underestimating the mortality rate on this sort of thing. And I'm not saying quit your job tomorrow, and I'm saying we have to start steering ourselves more and more. No bargaining, no compromising, but not strict and hard. Just start somewhere. And at this center, we do that. This doesn't feel, there's not that frequency of love. It could be the teaching material, the reputation of the teacher. We have musicians that that come here, and we have them here. But there are some that apply to play here, and they're big names. And we have to say no because of the behaviors of addictions and types of things. And we're not judging them for addictions. What I'm saying is it's very hard to make decisions and not feel like you're judging something, to say no to it. So don't get into the we're better than them. That's the judgment. Don't get into the they're bad. Instead, stay focused on what you are, not what they're not. That'll keep you out of the judgment. And it's not easy. As a love-based center, somebody says, I'd like to do an event there. We have to politely say, we'd love it, but no thanks. And then they hate us. They start walking around town looking for other venues, and they will find them. And some of them are okay, but this isn't a venue. This isn't a hall that you rent. This is a sanctuary. Sanctuary, meaning a place of sacredness. And they don't really get that. Well, what do you mean? It's just chairs and four walls. See, to us, it isn't that. And I don't care if somebody said, I'm going to pay you $100,000 to rent this for a weekend, and their subject matter was way off. Listen, I'm not saying no. I'm saying we can't. You understand what I mean? The difference? I mean, it's really, I'm not involved with bookings and stuff, but I'm speaking as I and we and the center and God and all that goes on here. It's not just we're saying no, we're saying we cannot do that. Is it ever tempting? Yeah, I'd say sometimes it's kind of like tilts a little. But then we know, ask certain questions. Ask certain questions and fish a little, push a little, pull, tease it a little bit. And something's going to break and reveal the true nature of them. And when you find underneath it, no matter what controversial topic, let's pretend, that they're really devoted into God, they're in. If underneath that we find it's business, if it's business first, we're out. I'll tell you a secret, though, before I'm done. A secret about this center. I don't, if I say this, it tempts people to take advantage of us, and I don't want that. But I want you to know this. When we have festivals, psychic fairs, if it were to happen that at a conference at the Global Center for Christ Consciousness, if it were to happen that an artist gets a booth, pays $300 for the booth, and only makes $200, we're going to give them another $100. Do you understand why? You're not supposed to. That's not how you make money. I don't care. I don't care about the fiduciary responsibility. That's not how you get the numbers to go, the charts. We don't have charts and graphs about where we're going. I know where I'm at and where we're going. I'm comfortable with that. But this whole idea, I refuse to let an artist lose money. They lose money enough. Musicians on tour. A musician, let's say, comes through town. And let's just pretend, usually these things are successful here. But let's pretend a musician sits here and shares with you their talent that they've developed over lifetimes. And they have 5 people in the audience. And you know what? Then they go to pay rent. No. You're not. I refuse that anybody lose money with their involvement with us. I don't care if it comes out of our money and we pay people. I'm telling you, it comes around. The downside is that integrity, you sticking to your principles, often doesn't pay off quickly externally. But it pays off immediately where it matters, right in here. If I die tomorrow and bargain for that extra $100, that's what I am. Fear-based, money-based, it confirms who are you the god of, the goddess of when you get to the other side. Because you have to be a god or goddess to enter Valhalla, to enter Nirvana, to enter God. So how'd you do? Well, I just learned that, it's important to make sure that every transaction is financial and improvement. This is what I was doing. They'll go, great, we're going to send you back as an accountant so you can look at charts all day long. I'm not saying accountants are in, graph hell. I'm just saying, we're going to send you back. If that's what you're about, so be it. And I personally, I'm not interested in that. I would like to be the god, goddess of, go to the other side, and they just go, there's not even a label we can give you because this is the presence of God. Kindness, generosity. When you receive, you don't say, look what I got. That's much more that I can give. And I'm talking about smiles and whatever else. Don't forget the most underestimated tool for dealing with depression, even anxiety, because we all have a little of this and that one, is being of service. But sometimes we're just too broken down to be of service. Today, this week, this month, this lifetime. Sometimes we're just too broken down. You know what I would do? My advice? Of course, prayer. But don't just say prayer, God, make me not anxious. It's despite how I feel, let me feel your presence. Ask to feel the peace, the bliss, the joy of God. But then, unfortunately, because your tank is empty, you have to grab every drop. You can't take it for granted. If you pray for healing, then you better watch for it. And when something simple like your favorite song, I haven't heard this song in so, oh my God, breathe it in. Every bit of good is a sign of an answer to your prayer. If you go, well, no, that can't be it, you're going to stay in that empty state. Fill your tank with gratitude. Be of service and give thanks. And anxiety will start to calm, depression will start to rise, and you'll get closer and closer to that beautiful middle space. Does all that make sense? Good. Let's please take a few centering breaths. Just relaxing and absorbing what we've discussed today. Breathe in and soak in and appreciate anything that made sense to you, and breathe out anything that didn't. It's okay. Something that wasn't for you wasn't right for you. But breathe in, commit to breathing in what felt right. Because it's yours. It's affirming your level of consciousness. Take a moment and let's let the Holy Spirit guide this process. But take a moment to recall any time someone was kind to you. There's got to be at least one moment. If your tank is so empty that you say, there's not one single moment anybody has ever been kind to me, I'm sorry if that were the case. But I also have to tell you, you're lying to yourself. Even when you walked in here and somebody said, hi, welcome, that's kindness. You're just ignoring it. You're not allowing yourself to see it. So please try. At least once in your life, you fell and somebody helped you up. That doesn't count. Comes the voice of somebody that wants to stay broken. You have to decide. You can't just wait for somebody to make you not feel anxious or depressed or anything else. You have to grab hold of it. Do you want it badly enough? Why be thirsty in the desert and deny a spoon of water because it's not a canteen? Start somewhere. Was someone ever kind? Whoever's coming to mind. And or it could be more than one person, of course. Just put a hand or two on your heart and mean it. Mean it. I'm so grateful for what you did for me. I'm sorry if you or anybody else was minimized when you did this. This was pure love. Whether it looked like a 1 on a 10 meter or a 10 on a 10 meter, its purity, its love is a 10 no matter what. I'm sorry I may have missed that. If I forgot to do so, I'm doing it now. I love you and thank you. It could be a horrible person that was kind once. I appreciate that one moment of kindness. And that will help inflate that kindness even in that person so they can become better people. Can you believe that your gratitude can make a difference to another human being? Make that decision now. And if the answer is no, I'm sorry. Just keep trying day to day. If you say yes, nice job. Feel it. Feel it in your heart. Feel it and see it like a glow in your heart that's rising and growing and growing. Even if other things with them didn't go the way you wanted, what did work? What was nice? Breathe it in. God, that person is going to be affected by you being grateful for them. We should want to do that 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times more than we can even imagine. They're benefiting. Nice job. And then, anybody you were ever kind to. Don't brush it off as, well, yeah, but I was their mother. Yeah, but that was a neighborly thing I had to do because that was my religion. I had to. Stop thinking. Just be grateful. To that person, you have no idea how important that was to them. They may not have even known. But even if we think we knew how important it was to give that person $10 that didn't have anything, we have no idea. It's millions of times more important. One act of kindness to another person could have triggered enough of an awakening in them that even when they passed away, they became a guardian or guide to other people because you awakened in them a gratitude, a sense of love, God's presence. And then look at the number of people they could have helped on earth or elsewhere. Don't brush these things off. It's not egotistical. Yes, if you stick your chest out more and say, look how great I am, I help people, of course, ego, inflation. But instead feel, look how much I've been able to share God's presence and the love of God with others. And in this, we're fed together. I'm fed, they're fed. It's beautiful. Those spoons and forks, too long to feed ourselves. Wow. I was fed by their kindness. They were fed by mine. There's no limit to this. Any kind of a limit. That's just BS. It's just my head putting limits on it. It's disgusting. It's ridiculous. This is love and it's expansive. It doesn't stop with one person or one incident. All Jesus' teachings, and he still summarizes it, all of that, all the words, miracles, as one thing, love. Love God. Be kind and love yourself, and be kind and love others. Love. When you turn left, love. When you turn right, love. When you're talking to somebody, diplomacy doesn't come from your head. There's rationale, intellectual versions of it, but the real deal comes from love. When you want to heal yourself or others, the power comes from love. Real service to others, if it's not love motivated, it's action motivated, appreciation motivated, demonstration motivated, it's worse, it's worthless. Love. To all the people in all of my lifetimes that I responded to without love or initiated at without love. Birthing children outside of a perfect state of love for the other person I was with. Every drink, everything I've ever done where it was outside of love, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to all the people I wasn't coming from a perfectly holy place. And to people in my life that weren't coming from that place. I'm so sorry to myself. What was I thinking? To forget love. That's called self-abuse and or the abuse of others. And it is not God's will. And in this moment, my ability, my power is in owning this. I have the right and the power to say, oops, my bad. I was not knowing who I was and what I do. But the real me is here now, waking up. I have to clean house and start washing and forgiving the memories of guilt and shames of where I blew it, surrendering that to the Divine Mother because she takes it gracefully, gently, lovingly, with no judgments of it. I take care of that now. And I welcome in the opposite. I'm so grateful Father, Mother, God, that I'm here now and I'm hearing you now. Please continue guiding me forward on how to be the walking presence of our Creator. Show me how to be the presence of love on earth with creatures, people, spirits departed, all beings of all dimensions throughout all time. Every person that was ever hiding in some little corner somewhere from abusers, crying and not knowing why this was happening to them. God, I'm so sorry that you felt alone. We are not alone. I believed we were, therefore we all found ourselves in those corners at times. But it was not true. The truth of God is that God is. And it's in all places, although hidden, waiting for us to lift the veils to see it. Today, I, with the guidance of my Divine Mother, the Holy Spirit of God, command that those veils begin lifting more and more than they ever have. Let me see the presence of God. Let me celebrate that presence. Let me sing that presence. Let me dance that presence. Let me shine and smile that presence. I am here to be the presence of God. My life is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. And so it is. Thank you. Slowly integrate back into the room. In a moment, we're going to do our closing prayer. But integrate back into the room. You know, just so beautiful, man. Stay here. Stay in the center. The things of the world can't guide us the way we hope they would. GPS, you know, all the things we use as our guidance systems has to be turned into God PS, you know. It's like guidance from somewhere else. I can't even rely. This has had the same time on it for the last hour. And I'm going, well, we're ending a little early. But I'm going, no, wait, that's the same time we started. So you can't even rely on things like that. Anybody want to share what you heard or felt or saw or experienced that could make the most difference for you after today's talk? Yes. God blessing others through you. Yes.
Of myself, I don't know anything, but through God I know everything.
Yes. Well, who's speaking? Of myself, I know nothing. That's not condescending. Of my little ego self, I know nothing. But God does know everything. And that's the knowing I want to access. If you could take a thumb drive and plug it into a computer, this computer is filled with all kinds of corrupt files and worm viruses, or one that would download anything important to you. Which one do you want? This is God. Yeah, but this one's closer. It's quicker. It's easier. And if things go wrong, I can blame it. See, it's so strange. Yes, sir. True diplomacy is not conjured, manufactured. It's through love. And you just know. And I hope you guys could relate and understand when I was sharing about people wanting to rent the space. You know, it's like, you have no idea. It's so easy to say, oh my God, those extra funds would be great. This, you know, the money and we'd pay off the bills for the month. Of course, that's there. Just like with any of you. Yes, I'm going to move a housemate in who's been known to be physically abusive, but I need the money. Nice move. Like, you got to be kidding me. And I understand, but I need the money. I hear you, and I'm sorry for the predicament, for the pain. I'm sorry. All I'm saying is, the more you steer off from your center, the more karma is involved. Be as centered as you can. This doesn't show the immediate external payoffs, unfortunately. One reason being, God's not external. So it can't go, gee, you opted to not get stoned today. Tomorrow, in reward, I'm going to give you the lottery. We're like, gosh, I didn't get stoned last night with my friends. I expected a better day today. And that might be your worst day of your life the next day. Where's the payoff? The fact that you hoped, needed, expected the payoff is why you're not getting it. If you stay in your center, stay unconditionally. No need for payoff, no need for proof. You must know that this is paying off. You just must know this is treasure in heaven. And that doesn't mean you can't have good karma manifesting externally today. You can. But most human beings don't know how to make the right choice first. Go with what is the most loving, peace-centered thing to do. And that'll generally be the right decision. Anyone else want to share? Yes?
Trauma is just lack of God.
Yeah. The definition for trauma is lacking God's presence. And if you think about it, that's, wow. When I didn't have the funds to pay a bill, it was traumatic. Oh no, that happens all the time. I don't care. I'm telling you it's traumatizing. Because deep down you know, if you felt God's presence, the bill would be paid. It hurts to not feel God's presence in the form of love, peace, joy, abundance, healing, whatever it might be. One more person, yes. Two.
This is not my home.
This is not my home. Yeah. And that's a cool one to have in the, as a backup. This is not my home. Anytime you're dating and, oh, this is going to be right. This is my soulmate, man. This is wonderful. And it doesn't work out. Remember, this is not my home. You're just dating. Don't make him the one and only. You're just dating. Relax. Right? This is not, it helps you kind of hold. I'm not saying to make yourself numb to things, but just have that backup. Well, what did you expect? Perfection in an imperfect world? Jesus can come in and go, I'm the Christ. Crucifixion next. Like, what happened? Oh, that's right. This is not my home. This makes sense that people that don't know this center would react violently to people who do. Because the home I have is not their home, and they don't like this. That's why he warned you about persecutions for people that hold that center. You had one more, yes.
That in times that we feel unworthy, or we feel the rage, or we feel we're out of control, our senses, our feelings, our emotions, that we can crumble, or we can come to be of service, and then of service
Yes.
is to be of God.
Countering the weight, the anxiety, the depression, be of service. And there's times in my life when I could say I felt off and that's right, let me be of service and smile. I could say no immediate external perks. I'm sure that that's happened here and there. But do I give up? I can't picture myself going, oh, that proves there's no God. I mean, or that then life isn't worth living. All I do is try to affirm, to acknowledge that I feel off. I feel a lot of stuff's going off. And it really, and the ego will do that to you. If you're pretty good about staying centered, it can't just go sneeze and make you go off. It's got to go sneeze and vomit and this and that and all kinds of things going wrong to get your attention. And you're like, no, I'm centered in God. Another thing, no, I'm centered in God. Another thing and another thing and another thing. And eventually, it's just too much. And in those moments, the Divine Mother is still holding you, just like this. I'm sorry, honey. Because I'm not only hungry, I'm wet, and a lot of things, and you're crying, and she's like, I know. Let me just rock you. Give me a moment, and I will change you, but give me a moment. You have to hang in there with some of these things. I know you want picked up, but I need to show you. I know you want me to lift you, but if I always lift you and you don't crawl, you will neurologically be inferior if you don't learn to crawl because of the movements of your body, the mechanics. You have to push through some things. And we want spoiled. We want miracles now. Miracles now means no growth, no development of your spiritual muscles called faith and healthy boundaries. That's another talk. So, the title, oh my God. See, as soon as she says that, what did I talk about?
This is our home.
Two of you immediately said that. This is not our home. Good, thank you. All right. We're going to do our donations now in our closing prayer. Please be as generous as you can be. And the folks online, there's a link you can click on to make donations. Yeah, this is the 3D stuff we have to do, we do, and we pay our bills, and we have a beautiful center, so we are appreciative that everybody pitches in. So blessings to you for that. Feel the gratitude towards what we do for you and our gratitude to you for helping to weekly, monthly, annually support this. Lots of different ways you can support this work. And one thing I want to tell you, there's a word called ministry. Remember, if you're a naturopath, that's your ministry. It's a different topic for now, but I'm just telling you, own your work to another level. You don't have to put it on your card, but I'm telling you, start getting used to the idea. Whether you go and work in an animal shelter, it's part of my ministry. Use the words my ministry more often. This is part of my ministry. To be kind and pay people's bills in the checkout stand. This is part of my ministry, whatever is right for you. It could be growing veggies, sharing them with the neighbor. It's my ministry. Stop thinking of things as linear items. I'm going to maybe talk about that next week. But do consider that. And I had something come to me this morning, and I thought, in this kind of a funny one, and maybe corny to some people, I just realized my ministry that I do for all these years, I'm ready now. I'm going to do a givestry instead of a ministry. I'm now just going to keep giving more that I can, all that I can. I'm going to receive. I'm putting it out there. I'm going to receive more funds, and I'm going to give more funds. I'm just getting into this thought of a givestry. For however long I'm left on this planet, I refuse to just do this. I've never believed in that. But I want out here more affluent, more giving, more lifting people, more helping people, all in every way I can. I'm just telling you, that came to me this morning. Thank you. Our prosperity prayer is printed on your papers in front of you, or it's posted online. Together, please. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Thank you. That'll just take a moment for those to reach to the back. And while they're passing those around, please remember, we have a healing room here. Inside of the healing room, there's a crystal bed. Phenomenal healing work that goes on with that. Remember, in our bookstore, we have a bunch more incense and oils that came in. Social media, guys watching online, God bless you and thank you. Join us as often as you can. But get on our mailing list, but also subscribe, and it'll tell you when we're going live. Remember, we have, besides the Sunday work, we have a Monday Zoom program and every other Saturday Zoom program. Monday, to get to that one at 11 every day, you go on the Friends of Michael Mirdad Facebook group. The one that's every other Saturday is the Daughters of Heaven Facebook group. Then you'll get access to those meetings. They're really, really beautiful, very cool, very powerful. And don't forget, coming up, the Daughters of Heaven conference. It's now only 4 weeks away. So we're reaching the home stretch. The Daughters of Heaven, if you don't know what it is, it's people more deeply dedicated. It's light workers that are ready to dedicate at a deeper level than just generically being light workers, to get more into devotionalism with God, anchoring the presence of God, being that presence in the world, but also for yourself. So Daughters of Heaven, there's a book, there's a website, daughtersofheaven.com, and the conference is coming up in a few weeks. And this Wednesday evening at 4, afternoon at 4, it's live on in person and also online. We have our healing circle. It's partly learning some healing skills for yourself and others. It's partly receiving, if that's what you want to do there. And it's also sometimes just sort of a support group in a sense. So we don't know exactly which week we do which, because we're just here to see what's happening in people's lives and then going to that place. But it is definitely a little bit of learning how to work that in yourself and others as well. Very, very cool. Very deep. Please stand for our closing prayer. Ginny, what time do you have? It's okay. What is it? Oh, perfect. Okay, that worked nice. Isn't that funny? So, did you really feel what was shared today? Did you feel the whatever was coming through, the strong intention behind Be kind, man. Be kind to people, but do not brush off kindness that was done to you or that you've done to others. You have no idea the deep appreciation and what that does for you on the other side. Every kind act you've done, but also every one that you gave thanks for, adds a feather to your wings on the other side. It helps determine how high you go dimensionally. Be kind. Be kind. I don't care if this is your first day on the spiritual path or you think you're a mystic from 18 lifetimes of mysticism. Be nice. Be as kind as possible. And we all have days when something's landed on our foot and we're not going, Om Mani Padme Hum. We're doing, you know. We don't do hand mudras. We have different mudras with our hands when we're in those moods. And you know what? It's okay. All of us send love to you in those moments because in those moments you're in pain. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we go, God is. I am. We are. And so it is. Peace be with you all. Thank you. Kat, could you take these? Thank you.
I need Barbara coming.